So much Zeke, Reese, and Shio. It is Game 3 of the FNCS Chapter 2, Season 4, Qualifiers 2, Day 2, Round 3, EU. You got all that? I hope you do. Copy and paste if you don't, because we're about to have a fantastic time. And so far, we're seeing some consistency here, Sundown, of the copy and pasting. The big names are still sitting on top. 4ZR still on top. Now, the question is, you mentioned it, can Benji, the 300 Lancers trio, make it out of that and switch it up? Or will they consistently try to fight, get injured, and out?
Well, they have the benefit this time. You can see the zone just outside of Doom, so if they opt to just get in and get out, they have a quick rotation path to at least do so. We saw it last round, those purple arrows just north in the northwest area actually collapsed on that fight very quickly. We were able to resolve it, but we're going to hop on over here. Flick, Thomas, and Anas trying to find their space here in Dirty Docks. Have plenty of room, so they're not overly worried about it. Plentiful amount of metal, upgrade bench as well, so generally you're able to leave here pretty much anything you want. Flick also already finding a pair of shockwaves, which is incredibly beneficial for this rotation. That, on top of them pulling zone, is going to set them up for a good early game.
And not to mention, this trio used to land in Steamy Stacks. For some reason, one of the most popular places to land in the EU region, considering that it was able to produce two solo champions in Janice and Tayson. But they are adjusted. They're going down to Dirty Docks, which is, for those of the people that are big fans of the NA East region, that day 2 will come up very soon after our slotted game 6s. There are 6 games here. If you're familiar with NA East, you know that Reverse 2K, Miro, and Day have been doing so well coming out of this. No one has contested them. And just to pull it back a little bit deeper, back in the day when Ninja would compete in squads, they came in 8th place, landing in this area. It's a little bit difficult. Back in the day, in squads days, though, you did have the Grotto looming in the distance, and a lot of big names like Tifu and would land there. So they're a little bit chill, a little bit calmer. Not a lot of people are going to be able to peek over here. So this is why they've been so successful here in Day 2, Sundown.
Yeah, the biggest thing coming out of this is honestly just guaranteeing you have the Storm Surge stacks, because outside of that, you're not really ever left wanting. So you hop on board the team who placed second last game. It's Skype with his duos. It does have, I believe those are Chinese characters, but I'm also not super familiar with Asiatic languages, so if I'm incorrect. But these are Falconly is one of them, and Yagsuo is the other. So Train Age players, a French trio who we've seen play incredibly well a number of times. We're trying to execute a nice little push here. Defensive crash pad coming out, a pair of defensive crash pads coming out for the red team to just try and disengage Skype, trying to stay above and continue to rain down shots at Steelix, who's going to get picked up there. Good combo coming through from the burst. Also has the charge to be able to provide a little bit of pressure from the side here. They will get the shakedown as well to try and identify where that final member of that trio is, but just going to maximize the damage by pickaxing down the body and then hitting it with that charge shotgun. You're going to see that a lot because, again, we talk about Storm Surge. The damage onto knocked opponents also counts for that, and you can go over the 100 damage threshold. So if you don't have a sniper rifle, next best thing, max charge shots straight to the head.
You're seeing in the feed Milan picking up an elimination on Miro, so that rotation way up there in Craggy Cliffs colliding with Stark Pond. But let me give you guys and gals, she's, hims, theys, what would you say, Bonesies, Jonesies, all of the ladder here. Listen up. This is the people here in the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th, all tied going up in this matchup here. 65 points, so it's all tiebreakers that's breaking it all up. You have a team that is trying to punch their ticket in. Kiriachi, Rotary, Storming Right, who competed last week, are so close to not making it. Blaster, Nikov, Alpha in 15th right now, holding on tight as the Train Hard team that we were just witnessing, watching, Sky's trio are still knocking on that door. Kiko, Slender, and Mosh Grande are in the 17th place. And my pick, Revsguard, Stompy, and Scram just on the outside, 18th place. So that is how tight it is. And you mentioned, Sundown, 17th place is where the placement points get doled out, but Boyer's not going to wait. He's going to go ahead and try to pick up one right here, and Papa goes down. It's a battle for Lazy Lake is going down between this trio of Kezers and Boyer going up against the Papa Flores and the Leon Flores, I believe, and Mama.
And well done from Boyer there, picking up an Elam. We've talked about it. The SMG's not really utilized almost at all this season, but the close range tracking, the pressure, being able to put down an answer in the form of that shotgun, also getting a nice little wall block there to make sure they execute it. Now looking to kind of close this fight, get together, use the chug splashes, and then try and push out the rest of the floor. It says Mama and Leon over on the side. Boyer trying to close the gap using the AR. Nice 49 into a 33. Going to leave that opponent down for now and then go on over. That's Leon getting cleaned up. And I actually dislike that a little bit because, again, not maximizing the Storm Surge, which we've seen come into play a little bit here in terms of the kind of 5th and 7th circles. So leaving that opponent down and then just eliminating the other one effectively pulls off about 160 damage they could have had on there. But that's just kind of picking the fine threads out.
It's those fine threads, though, those details that, you know, it goes from like a hot 500 thread count Egyptian cotton. You want that 1,000, you know what I mean? You want all those threads to give you that fine, soft feeling blanket. And speaking of blankets, Noah, Riley, Aqua, and Rezon are putting the wettest blanket on Lechi and Savage. And look, another trio is sniffing here. So this is about to be a very tight situation and not a lot of oxygen here for Benji, Lechi, and Savage here, Sundown. This is going to be rough sauce to watch.
It's going to be rough. And I mean, again, we talk about it, just getting stuck in this area. You can see what looks like yet another team also heading in as well. And because you are on the outside of the circle, not leaving early, it's going to make the rotation in that much harder. You can see some pings coming out over on the side saying danger. Hey, there's a team rotating around here. We need to make sure we stick together. And honestly, like only 20 mats as well. And just not a whole lot going on between either one of these teams. It's really, really, really difficult to get yourselves rolling when you have such a high quality team opposite you each and every single time.
Now we're going to go into another battle that's happened. We're still sticking with Boyer here in Lazy Lake, as it is the coolest Carrot who made a big surprise on the scene in the FNCS Invitational. We're all wondering, who is this cool Carrot making some big time plays down out in the Authority, but Carrot now is going to go ahead and get diced. Out goes Carrot and down goes Pasek and gets the L dance as well. The hot binds are happening. It's actually Kiriachi. Where are they doing? Way over here, out here in Lazy Lake. Are they just? I know they land there south of Misty Meadows, but they're making the rotation quite early and running right straight into Lazy Lake here, Sundown.
Yeah, they've actually been rotating, landing kind of more towards the south side of Slurpy Swamps and also in the cabin there, and then heading east pretty much right away. But now you can see Tripper trying to put some pressure on the wall. He has his binds up there. He lets you know he's got Q, M5, M4, and V. That's something we've seen out of some of the EU players, but it's actually Tripper who's in the duo with Boyer right now, just trying to kind of keep their space, do what they can to disengage. We already saw them win one fight. Kezher has been taken out. You can see him trying to double back on over to the reboot van to execute on the reboot, but with a limited number of mats, it's going to be really hard. Boyer pushing through, finds a huge shot onto Diver, and that's actually going to be a full elimination. So that was just a solo who's trying to get a part of it and not going to be the full team who's pressing down on him, as we now have Skype, Yagso, and Falconly also joining in on the party. Why not? Fiesta at Lazy Lake. Everyone's invited. All of you showing up anyway.
Everybody show on up and bring everybody, but make sure you're staying socially distant and wearing masks. But this is the battle that's happening virtually, so that's why they're going to get chest to chest and make sure to get these elims. But they're going to go ahead and maybe disengage, as you've seen, as they're making away, noticing that it's not worth the fight. But still, Rotary, Kirachi, Stormer here are still right next to them, the next door neighbors. And this is a battle of the people on the bubble. It's about to burst for one of them, as only the top team 15 advance, and you're hearing the honk of the horn, and that's going to be a moment for everybody to stop like a deer and look around for those elim opportunities. But wow, you're seeing another team that's having a slow start to this day. Legendary, Riser, and there it is. They're gonna go ahead and try to make this push to pick up their trio teammate. But these Storm Riders are going to have to get out of here as quick as possible. And considering that they have a slow start today, you said so yourself a little bit earlier, looks like it's going to be a res chain. And Sundown, I don't know, man. You don't want to be in shambles this early into Zone 2?
I mean, this is they're going to have to execute so well to get out of here. Luckily, finding a med kit. So they're going to chain revive. And on top of chain reviving, the one thing I would like to see them doing is actually throwing their teammates farther towards zone when you're going to be able to pick them up, because you'll save just that much extra time. But it's going to get to a point. This is only a 1-tick zone. They're going to have not enough time. Yeah, no, that's it. He doesn't have enough time. Doesn't have it. I was about to say they're going to miss the minimum amount. Oh, no, I apologize. Watching the wrong feed. It's good. There's no way.
It's close.
Like, they're going to be able to get out of here, but it's going to require just so much. And right now, Rajasser should have been carrying Lusha with him and tossed him right at the end to move all of them further, which now you're going to see because Legendary, they're playing this completely wrong. I actually don't think they end up getting out of this zone and into the next one, because the next zone is also going to be closing. They're above Storm Surge, but the fact that they're losing key time, maybe if they burn the shockwaves, they can kind of be able to get ahead of it, but it's going to be so freaking hard.
Here we go. This is the play that maybe be creative here. You shockwave the one person that's carrying the down teammate, and then you shockwave over to kind of break the gap, but we're seeing it, the heals. This is why they're holding on. Every bandage, every HP, every tick is so vital, because this could come down to it here, Sundown. This could come down to it, just them surviving. Maybe they pop off an in-game. Maybe they find a bandage cannon here.
There's nothing in the vault.
There's nothing in the vault. That would have been the play. Legendary's going to head and port out of there, but they're still alive. Hey, and that is all that what matters here in the FNCS trios. These are how competitive.
Right.
There's oh no, there's the
zone's already
on the
pulled
truck.
Away. Like, there's no way.
Believe in the believe.
No, I don't believe. I don't believe.
To.
I literally, I don't. Nope, I don't believe. I believe we are watching this perspective right now so that we can see them go down and fail the chain revive. And you know what? I'm completely all for
small
it.
fries. Something. Anything.
Not what are you gonna do? Like, fish straight out of the ground and just hope to pull out a small fire? There's no more white heals on them. It's all gonna come down to whether Legendary or Rajasser can keep chain reviving.
Campfire.
But the difference is when this storm zone ends up closing. Nope, he missed the chain revive. That's it. He missed the chain revive. They messed up the timing at the end. That's gonna be it. All three of them tick it over, and they weren't able to execute it. Time lost. They're not able to get over to the campfires that they needed. So we talk about having to do all the little things right. Well, they did all the little things completely wrong right there. Shouldn't have split the bandages. Should have kept chain reviving on the other two, while one person, whoever had the bandages, kept throwing those people farther through. That's how you get out of that situation. And instead, they're going to go down with only 3 points to their name, and honestly, a whole bunch of frustration.
Yeah, we've all been there, though. Everybody from all walks of Fortnite life has been there. From solos, duos, squads, we've all been there running from the storm, doing our best to survive, hoping for a campfire. But this is going to be the next tough situation for the rest of the board. The Stark Industry elevation, and already there's some people looking down over. And when you see Thomas HD with the legendary sniper, oh no, you better watch out as Heatsea goes out, gets snuffed on out right then and there. But this is going to be that opportunity that we see in Polar Peak 2.0. And look at it, folks. If you're on the bottom looking up, that's what you have to deal with. You have to be with the hottest trio in the EU region beaming down toward you, and that's going to be a tough situation to navigate. And not only that, everybody else is up there looking down over, looking for those easy picks. So you have to wonder, the mongrels of the world are up there. They have to be in a strong position. As you're seeing there, more EU teams have finished top 10 after rebooting a player than any other region.
And that could be a little bit of foreshadow going on here. As we saw, the reboot did end up coming through. Kesher is back up there as Boyer and Trippin are able to get it. Or Kaiser, I apologize. I always want to not pronounce that correctly, even though I know the enunciation. I just look at the spelling and go through. But doing so well, and Boyer showing a little bit of a resurgence right now for Elim so far. Trippin sitting on one, and a cheeky snipe coming through the edit. That's Deceptos who caught that one with his teeth. He says, "Don't worry, Mr. President. Get down. I got you." And Boyer now going to try and close the gap. The big thing here is they're not utilizing this in order to convert on the elimination. Look at where they are in the bottom right. Their goal with this is to put pressure on the team up there, and by getting the knock, they guaranteed one of the two teams who's billy goating up on the side of the hill, is unable to play gatekeeper right now because they have to focus on the revive. That's why you see them sprinting forward, and with all of their low HP pools and their reboot, they don't have any excess shields, so they need to get in this zone pretty much now on the back of the Boyer snipe, and if he doesn't hit that, I don't think they get in.
And there it is. You're seeing how it's just not about just necessarily storm tags. It's not necessarily about getting the knock. It's not about getting that 1 point. It's just allowing yourself to get that in game. And Boyers and Kaiser are playing really strong, already over their average eliminations, already sitting at 5, I believe. They've been outputting 2.6. So they're turning it up at the right time, because day 2 here, we're at the halfway point. This is game 3 here. After that, we're going to take a break and let our competitors rest for a bit, because like I said, if you get to the end game, we're talking about 20 minutes of high, intense Fortnite competitive action.
And you can see right now with that zone reveal in the bottom right-hand corner, we're going up onto upstate New York, just a little bit northwest, some of the factory into play, but that means you pretty much have to go right now. And you see right there, Boyer & Co. being taken out. That's Antarak, Slove, and Sick, who will be on the benefiting end of those eliminations. And it was going to be tough anyway, because they had to go and pull up, didn't have any excess shields, any excess utility had already been burned. So despite getting those 6 early eliminations and the 2 trio wipes, really not going to be benefiting a ton from the points that they could have gotten in this game. Again, those placement points coming through in the top 17. You actually see Savage and Lecce get taken down there in the feed. That was Mitro, Mongrel, and Tayson being the benefactors there. So some Titans going at it right now as everyone trying to find a way up on top of this terraformed hill.
And here it is. We saw on day 1, Stark Industries being big factor as 2 in-games happened here. And out of those basically in-games, it was Miro that was able to capitalize on both of those, getting 2 victory royales going over the Stark Pond. But now we're on board with the team that's in the top 3. Going into day 2, number 1 spot at Queasy, Milan, and Chapix. They had a little bit of a stumble here in the previous game. If you missed it out, they were using a rip to glide on over, and Queasy and Chapix got taken out so quickly, got lobby focused. But we're just going to take a look at the overall positions of all of our players. You're seeing the crazy mountains that the Stark Industries point of interest has, and they have to navigate that. And this is brand new. If you're missing out in season 4, yes, Marvel superheroes are here. We're talking about Tony Stark from the Marvel universe having a way here at Fortnite Island, trying to figure out what is going down, creating some awesome tech. But now we have a hot team here of Hen, Putrick, and Deceptos making their way on the low ground. Uh-oh, big boom.
Yeah, but I was about to say, while they're setting up that propane tank play, they didn't cover their flank, and now it's all going to be up to Hen. And we've seen this time and time again with this team, where they get a little too separated. They're not necessarily on the same page. Deceptos is going to be able to get picked up. It's going to be at the cost of Putrick, but however, more pressure's coming through, and now it's all on Hen, the young English Lord. We talked about it, how he's been performing so incredibly well since the Cash Cup he won on his birthday. What can he do alone in this situation? Back to the storm. Rotary, Kiriachi, storming right to one side. Nikoff and Co. directly above him, but now we're going to hop on over. Some shockwave is being used. This height challenge is going to come out. That's Rezon going down, and it's all going to be on the back of Aqua. So again, not really being able to leave Dooms unscathed, despite pulling a relatively close zone. They're put under pressure, and it's all going to be on the back of the World Cup duo champion.
You're seeing people, trios going into one backpack. The carry is real, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many elims or all the points. It just matters how you work as a trio. And so oftentimes, a lot of people like to break down like this player didn't do as much as elims, but that it just all matters, man. The support players, the IGLs, whatever you want to break down trio roles, you work as a unit. And we're seeing right now a strong unit working right now in Teak, Seti, and Kubix. They did some really high in-game finishes. 38 points. It's a solid day here in day 2. And of course, they're one of the teams that didn't even make it into week 1 of round 3. So this is the first time here in the FNCS trios in round 3 in week 2.
And I don't want to say I have a little bit of an issue saying like didn't even make it, but particularly in Europe, I mean, we talked about it a little yesterday, where I think realistically there's maybe 40 to 45 trios, so you could say like, hey, if they play their best 12 games, they can win the region, especially when you have to go from the top 1K trios down to the top 33. Making it in every week and having it be consistent is actually nuts. Like, that in and of itself speaks to just how strong consistent your trio is when you consider all of the things you have to deal with when it comes with the game of Fortnite. So I think even getting to the dance and then being able to put on a solid performance is argument enough that you can say you belong there. And as long as you do that once or twice, we should be seeing you in heats.
And absolutely, and they are dancing with the stars at the moment right now. They have 3 elims going into 4th place here before this game. Strong performance. No doubt they're going to be able to punch their way into the next rounds, which are heats, and that is when things get a little spicy and the heat is getting turned up in the kitchen as they pick up a nice elim, working in the mucky muck right now, doing really well as a trio. We had so many analyst packages breaking down the strength of the low ground, but Sundown, because you're here at Stark Industry, they're going to have to navigate a lot of high elevations.
Yeah, and you can see as long as the zone doesn't pull completely off of the edge, these players should be moderately happy. While there is some kind of change in verticality, it's mostly pretty manageable. There is the one hill that's kind of completely towards the northern side that can cause some difficulty. Doesn't look like it's going to come to play as we tick in closer to our first round of placement points. Don't forget that happens top 17, and then every placement out until you're into that top 3 is 1 point. Top 3 is +2, top 2 is +4, then the Victory Royale nets you an additional 5. As right now we have Cubex in the top of your screen, Teak in the bottom right, Seti in the bottom left. Seti carrying the burden of eliminations right now with 4 from this match, but doing a good job rotating and just staying ahead of the zone.
Here we go. They're doing their best as well, staying above the storm surge, looking very strong. We're so close to placement points getting doled out, and look at them. They're 4th place, working together, and this is what we mentioned as well before, the beautiful tarp that they have. And when you have a clean rotation like this, when you're working on all cylinders, this is the fundamentals of trios that we're seeing, and that is what makes it work so well. The hip-to-hip action, one piece and kind of going back and forth, checking on the front side, checking on the back side, the person on the back side, cleaning up, opening up builds, making edits, looking for those tags, while the person in the front leading the way, kind of going through the chaos and the madness that's ensuing in front of them, making those layer changes, all of that coming into this cacophony of awesomeness as we're seeing in the feed. Flick goes down, 4ZR is still up, and now we're definitely in the placement points as we're in the top 15. 4ZR picking up an elimination on Nas, but Kupix is not done. As you see, someone else is occupying this layer. They're going to do their best to send the shots through. As Reese said in one of his YouTube videos, a lot of eliminations come through by shooting on your layer, and that was some good tags there for Kupix.
And they want to continue with it, as we said, into the placement point area. Top 14 trios, top 18 or top 28 players remaining right now. So a couple duos and solos running around. This is a complete trio though, tarping on the side, and they found a great layer. Not a whole lot of contention coming through, and able to get clean shots on the backside. So able to pick up Slender, quick harpoon to get whatever mats and utility from that, as again groups up, gets the 1 splash as we close in on the top 10. Queasy takes out Snappy with some help from Milan, so we know that that trio is still up. You can see Mitro also picking up and down there onto Rasco. Mongrel converting that one over. We have our top 20 players now, but one more trio will still need to drop before we have the top 10.
The advantages of being on this layer right here, the mid ground, is it allows you to kind of have a 3D effect. You could shoot at people above you, shoot at people below it, but at the same time, you have an opportunity to take height at a moment's notice. So you're going to be watching a lot of trios here in this situation, kind of looking up and down for all opportunities to get these tags. But now they're on the low ground, and they're going over waters. You see, this is closing time, Zone 9, and Cubex closes out another story, as in the Elim fit is Chapix, and actually, it is Squeeze that's still up. But look, we're taking a look at the Mucky Muck, but if you take a quick peek at the castle made of clouds, on high is the Wonder Boys of Mongrel, again on high with Tayson and Mitro.
They're just trying to drop everything they can on the top, looking for the opportunity when they'll be able to put pressure down on top of them. Right now, though, Cubex and Seti doing a good job on the low ground, about to run out of materials. The question is, with those 2 medkits and a siphon going through, can he find the timing with the zone going to full close? He needs to get in front of it and then pop the medkit if he wants to have an HP advantage. We see Queasy going down there, and right now it's a 3v2v1, again, with Tayson, Mitro, and Mongrel in complete control. Milan and Cubex trying to get whatever they can. Not going to happen as Milan gets converted over. Now 1v2, and the top comes out, but of course, from the top down, it was never in doubt. Mitro, Mongrel, and Tayson taking home the victory royale and just asserting themselves in day number 2 here.
There it is, the Wonder Boys getting it